you're a comedian and you've been on stage a million times and you've been in comedy clubs when you've seen a hypnotist get on stage and do funny shit.
Yeah.
He'll hypnotize a bunch of people. I went years ago with a girlfriend, long before I was married, and the comedian brought volunteers on stage, set them all in chairs, and then said, and anybody in the crowd that wants to try and get hypnotized, go ahead and do it. Don't touch them. If they fall asleep, just point to them. I'll come and get them, bring them on stage, right? So he gets all these people hypnotized. There's 25 people on stage. There's a Hell's Angel giving birth to a baby. There's all kinds of crazy shit and pandemonium going on. That's what, when people look at the TV, they immediately look at a TV broadcast and a news broadcast and say to themselves, that's my authority. A TV broadcast and a news broadcast and say to themselves, that's my authority.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro. I love
you.
This is
report
all
back.
love. We need to pick a video.
Do you believe we went to the moon?
I do. This and
great question.
And this will go a little deeper, and it might freak you guys out. I'm a Freemason. I'm a Freemason for a couple reasons. One, go a little deeper, and it might freak you guys out. I'm a Freemason.
You sissy. You serious?
It's so huge. Have you heard of the Hampstead conspiracy?
Yeah.
The Hampstead conspiracy, it's in the UK, and it's related to the Savile conspiracy. It's there was these two kids. They're about 8 years old, they're a brother and a sister. They have a mom, and the mom has a boyfriend. The boyfriend's name is Abraham. The boyfriend knew and then they see the biological father once every other weekend, according to the courts. That's
Right. You sent me this video.
So the Abraham, the mother's boyfriend, knows there's something wrong with these kids. These kids are fucking nuts. They're masturbating with each other. They have these insane tantrums. Something's going on. The mother doesn't know what's going on, right? So the Abraham's trying to he figures something's up with the father. The father's fucking with them, right? So, but he can't crack them. So he decides, you know what, maybe they'll open up if I take them on vacation. So they go on vacation to Morocco, and I think they're on like a cruise ship in Morocco. So they're away from the UK. And it works. The kids come clean, and he's got it on video. You can watch this on YouTube.
Right.
The kids, both of them are going, yes, everybody at school is fucking us. All the teachers, they're all fucking us. Go, what teachers? He's naming all the teachers, and they're saying they see their dad every day at school. The dad shows up to school. Right.
Jesus Christ.
And the kids are saying the dad. When you look into it, fuck them. All the teachers have tattoos of Baphomet, like on their genitals. They're getting into details about what's going on. The whole school is involved.
Right.
And they're bringing outside people. On Wednesdays, that's the big day. That's when they have the most of the sex. These little kids are saying this on vacation. So they get back to the UK. They go back to the UK, and then they go to the cops, and they got them on tape. You can watch this on YouTube. They break down exactly what's going on. They take them to church. There's all these secret rooms in church. Everybody at church is fucking the kids. So there's zero investigation, and then there's a retraction from the kids. They get the kids back at the police station. The kids say, yeah, Abraham, he made us lie. Abraham made us lie. So you could tell the retraction isn't real.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at the confession, they're going into detail, but there's zero detail when it comes to Abraham forcing them to lie about their father.
It's horrifying, dude. And most people,
and then the media puts out this headline: police on manhunt. They're going after
Abraham.
No, they're going after the mother. Police on manhunt after mother who tortured children into lying about their father.
Oh my God.
So, but this the thing is, they never went after. There was no manhunt. You know why there was no manhunt? What are they going to capture her, put her in court, and then they're going to cross-examine the kids? So they stayed away from it. The media is saying they're going after the mom for torturing the kids into lying. Meanwhile, the mother's trying to. They took the kids. They took her kids. The mother's campaigning to get her kids back. She's done all these shows. She's doing all these interviews. And she's like, they're not arresting me. They're not coming after me because they know that they'll be cross-examination.
It'll come out in court. It'll all come out in court.
They just bury that shit and cover it. And then the father, it turns out, Hampstead is like the Beverly Hills of London. So this is super wealthy. This is like high-level schools. And then the father is on the mainstream media crying, saying, I can't believe my kids think I'm a Satanist. He's an actor. He's an actor. He's an actor.
I believe that. I was there.
Yeah,
you know, so what is that? You sit back and think about that. All the cover up with Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
And then that Hampstead cover up with these two kids. They said everything.
Right.
How deep does it go?
This will go a little deeper, and it might freak you guys out. I'm a Freemason. I'm a Freemason for a couple reasons. One, Freemasons were responsible for the French and American revolutions, right? That's where the whole for the French and American revolutions.
I got into researching Freemasonry because Freemasonry got Illuminized, and Freemasonry said that they were going to assassinate the Christian faith, and they tried to do that. Illuminized Freemasonry tried to do that during the French Revolution. And in fact, there's a really good book, Fire in the Minds of Men. Are you familiar with that book, Harry?
I haven't seen that particular one, but yeah, we would definitely agree with you that. Well, see, from our perspective too, we talked about this before. The Second Vatican Council, which implemented these Freemasonic principles, was the French Revolution. There was one cardinal, his name was Cardinal Sunens. He actually admitted after, he said, yeah, Vatican II was the French Revolution in the church. So yeah, from our perspective, holy religion was subverted on the state level, because that's what the Masons and Jews try to do. They've been trying to knock off Catholic monarchies or, as you said, pull the worldly leaders towards them so they can kind of sit on both sides of the fence and control the war, so to speak. And that's their end goal. Their end goal is this: in the New World Order, it's a one-world socialist republic. Anyone who studied this knows that the Jews are using Freemasonry as a front to ultimately usher in their new Messiah, which may come in the next 2 years, in my opinion. But go ahead, Fritz.
How did this book come to be? Because it is amazing. It never fails. Anytime I see Britney Spears doing something weird in a video, I'll go look it up and say, seashells. Oh, that means they're always listening. Okay, that's the... I mean, your book unveils these deepest secrets. How did you get this knowledge?
In the School of Hard Knocks. I was a researcher into the Illuminati. I'd done thousands of hours of research, and then I had the good fortune of teaming up with 4 women that had been in the Illuminati. We're trying to get out. We're a support team for each other to get out. And if I had bumped into all of this without being able to get collaborating evidence, I would have put a lot of this information up on the shelf. But the 4 of them, they could back their stories. They had evidence, and I could see that this stuff was for real. And I started to try to help them, because even though all of them had professional therapists, the therapists were not really solving the problem. Well, what was happening is they were going to the therapists were telling them, hey, you're getting better, you're doing great. So the person was happy. The therapist, they were making maybe $150 an hour, so they were happy. And I was looking at the situation and seeing that these people who program multiples were still being used by the Illuminati. And I'm like, no, I'm the one person here. I'm the little thing in the punch bowl that's not happy. and so I stepped in where angels fear to tread, and I started learning how can I help these people. And it wasn't easy, and my life was nuts for a while, because it was like me against the Illuminati, and I was really in over my head. But anyway, after a number of years of trying to help these people and I took Cisco, who I focused most of my energies on her, and I took her to anybody that said that they had answers. And over a period of time, I learned in the School of Hard Knocks what worked and what didn't work, what was going on and everything. And I realized nobody's exposed this. This has been a secret for thousands of years within the Illuminati, how to create a programmed multiple personality. And I was like, this has to be exposed. So that's how I wrote the formula book. Is I felt called, I felt this big need to expose to the world this huge secret. And then I followed the formula book up that you mentioned with which is 500 pages. I followed it up with a 600-page sequel. So, and there was another book in there too on the mind control, the guidebook, but it's out of print. So yeah, if people are interested in learning more about the mind control, just go to my website, pentracks.com, 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 and put in my name, put in pentracks.com, and go there, and you can see the books of mine that are still in print that are available. I didn't write these books for myself. I wrote them for people out there. And I know, Freeman, you've been doing a lot of work exposing magic and how it works and all this stuff. And so we had these Podesta emails that WikiLeaks exposed, and we had this lady, Mariana Abramovic, which, by the way, those that are into looking at genealogy realize that that's a Ashkenazim Jewish name, and she's from Serbia, but she's lives in the United States, and she puts on these shows. She's actually done these shows for quite a few years, and she does these sadistic rituals in front of audiences, and they call it art. Her first performance that she did, she sat there and cut herself and caused herself to bleed 20 times. She burns herself, she whips herself, she asks her viewers to kill her with various instruments of death that she lays out there, and this is all called art. This isn't art, people. This is not art. I mean,
let me throw in
just
for those,
go ahead,
because
you understand this stuff.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make it clear to the public that we were talking about spirit cooking here, because that topic did not really make it to the mainstream. It was mostly the alternative media that was covering it. Marina Abramovic is world famous for doing these rituals with Jay-Z, Kanye, Beyonce, Hillary, Podesta. I mean, she is famous around the world. And what we're looking at here, I just wanted the public to know that you were referring to this spirit cooking.
Right. This links in with Hillary and John Podesta, and the person that spelled out the theory behind chaos magic, and you probably know this guy, Austin Osman Spare, and
right.
You know the organization he was part of, Crowley's AA. The AA is actually Illuminati occult lodge system. Anyway.
That's literal, folks. See, I always got to point out, we've got this catch-all phrase that we say, the Illuminati, but when we're talking about the AA, we're talking about the OTO, Crowley's order. They claim to be direct descendants of the Bavarian Illuminati, of the original Illuminati, not this colloquial catchphrase that we use, Illuminati.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the AA, folks, that's serious black magic right there.
Yeah. So, it's what's happened in our culture is somebody can pee on a cross or do a satanic ritual and then call it art. And how dare anyone criticize art? I mean, you can do any silly thing any barbaric act or anything and call it art, and then who dares criticize that, you know? So you have sex Eucharistic magic. That's what this is, you know, and it's where you take ordinary things and you transmute them into sacraments. Or Crowley used the words, matter is replaced by the spirit. Now, for you and I, what we just see is we see pee, and we see menstrual blood, and we see semen and breast milk. Yeah. That's all we see. But these people, in their weird thinking, they think that this stuff is going to actually be some divine sacrament.
Within the OTO, they call these cakes of light, just so you know, folks. I mean, it's written about, it's there. Fritz has covered it years ago. I covered it years ago. We talked about even Lady Gaga's perfume having synthetic blood and urine or semen in it. For all of you to spray on yourselves. To have this spirit cooking sacrament, you can just get Lady Gaga's perfume and spray it on yourselves. Now, this is something that's really struck home with me, Fritz, is the idea that what I'm seeing, okay, I have hated Hillary since Waco and before. And
right.
For me, she is the most frightening thing on the planet. But what I witnessed from those people rioting in the streets right now and shooting people and beating people for supporting Trump and all the things that are going on right now, and Hollywood just freaking out, crying and moving to Canada and all the things, is this very idea that you're talking about, the fact that they're acting as if something is stepping in the way of their perversion. And we're like, but we're getting somewhere. We're almost to legal pedophilia. Come on, we need Hillary. That's the way I feel about what these people are saying.
Oh yeah. And so I came up with a new word, Trumpophobic. And it goes along with theophobic. These people that are out here in Portland, I live in the Portland area, and they've been tearing downtown Portland up with their riots for days. And they're Trumpophobic, you know, they use this homophobic. Well, think of all the phobics that they have, you know, I mean, and I don't consider myself homophobic, but these people are theophobic. And so, yeah, their candidate didn't get in. So now that is an excuse to beat people up, steal their cars, bash their front windows in, and tear the city apart. Well, whatever. That's not the way I was raised. And it just shows that these people do not care for the real. When we use the term democracy, I mean, it's used in such a, it's used by the liberals to mean something that it isn't. But the democratic process where people vote, it shows that they don't respect that. When Trump would win, and a lot of these people, because I've been downtown and I've listened. I mean, I don't go downtown, but in Portland, I've listened to some of these people after the election. They honestly think Hillary won it, and the mainstream news media is not telling them the truth. It's leading them on to think, oh, well, we still won it. And as you know, I'm sure you saw that in San Francisco, the teachers union down there has told their teachers in that area that they are to teach the students that Hillary won and not to accept Trump stepping in there. So we can see that our schools are no longer places where children learn facts, but they're where they're indoctrinated, you know. Really, we have seen in this election the one of the beautiful things, because there's always a silver lining in every dark cloud. One of the beautiful things about this election is people have woken up and seen what's going on more than any other event that I can think of in my life. You know, a lot of people woke up because of JFK's assassination and the fake, you know, Warren Commission report that even Congress eventually repudiated. A conspiracy too. because Congress couldn't even keep the lid on the facts. Eventually, even Congress had to once people had completely forgotten about the thing. That's what they do. They come out with the truth once people, it's no longer relevant to most people. But anyway, 9/11 woke up a lot of people. But this election has really shown a lot of people, like you were intimating, some of us, like myself, I have been trying to tell people that the election was rigged from like 1990 or 91. And there was a guy that he was trying to get out of the Illuminati, and he told me, he said, Fritz, the Illuminati have these elections planned. They know exactly what's going to happen 6 months ahead of time. He said 6 months ahead of this, I think it was 1992 election. He said, Fritz, I saw all the final figures on a map, the final popular vote and the final electoral college votes on this map. They knew exactly how they were going to rig it. And so this time around, it didn't happen according to the script. And of course, all these people are shocked. And that touches what you were talking about earlier about Kanye West. And I got the transcript of his 15-minute speech that he gave in Sacramento, that, on the St. Pablo tour concert that he ended up canceling. And then a few hours later, they put him in handcuffs. At least that's what I saw. The report said that they came, put him into handcuffs, and hauled him off because they were saying that this was a psychiatric emergency. So I guess if you're programmed multiple and you find the truth and you tell the truth, then that's an emergency, a psychiatric breakdown that you need to be reprogrammed. But his talk was, did you see the transcript? It was pretty amazing. He said, a lot, I'm just repeating what he said. He goes, a lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. Google. Then he starts listing Google, Facebook, radio. He says they all lied to you, and he said, I'm going to take my lead from Trump and just say what's on my mind. He said, this might cost me my career, but I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it's at risk of my own life. And he said, I'm not here to massage you with fake truth, but you were told over and over and over that Hillary was going to win. And then you woke up and you still can't believe it, and he just told them, you've been lied to, people. You've been lied to. And that's what you and I have been telling people for decades, that you can't trust the mainstream media. And people have finally saw that for themselves.
Absolutely. And the secret game behind all of this, bubbling up to the surface. I mean, back in the day, we had Lindsay Lohan. You would see her going back into the Promises Clinic or into the Crossroads whenever she started to break free. Paris Hilton had control of the Anti-Panty Club, which was Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears, and it seemed like Paris Hilton had gotten a hold of the mind control triggers and was using Britney and Lindsay as her dolls and running them out there, having them show their vagina all over the place. They called them the Anti-Panty Party, and Paris Hilton ends up in jail like a goyim, making her, showing her, hey, you can be touched too if you're going to start releasing our secrets here. We're trying to keep this under wraps. And we see constantly how when these celebrities come forward, or Prince, oh my God, he was really releasing stuff on chemtrails. His album Lotus Flower was really releasing a lot of secrets, if you've ever heard Conformed Mind by Prince. And then he dies in an elevator, the very thing that he called Satan. And we just see this over and over again, where these celebrities that are given this power to transform humanity, and anytime they go against the script, 5150. They're psychological emergency. We need to run them in and reorder them. And as you list in your book, many of these institutions, Crossroads, I mean, my God, it's named after the meeting with the devil. is an institution where they throw these people in to seemingly reprogram that. Wouldn't you say that?
Oh, yes, exactly. Thank you for bringing that out. It's really a joy always to have a radio talk show host who's informed. I mean, sometimes I get these people that have me on that don't know a bump from whatever. And, it makes it difficult to have an interview because they don't appreciate what's going on. So their questions are like way out there. Now, there's a couple other things that this election has exposed. You probably were right there. I don't listen to all your shows. I listen to a few of them. But I'm sure you've exposed at some point the mock alien invasion, Project Bluebeam. Now it's the latest version of that was Fire Sign. And so the WikiLeaks exposed that when Hillary's strategist, she hired this guy, Joel Benenson, in Washington, D.C. to be her campaign strategist. And then as it was getting down close to the wire, they realized they were going to lose. So they were like brainstorming, how can we stop Trump's supporters from voting? And they studied that out, and they realized the only thing that would work would be a mock alien invasion. So they actually talk about doing this Fire Sign, which is, a mock alien invasion, projecting flying saucers with holograms and projecting thoughts into people's minds. Well, you and I have been talking about a mock alien invasion for a long time, but finally, here's the proof in WikiLeaks that this stuff exists and that they might do it. And so that was like, all right. So, a number of these things that you and I have been talking about have been exposed, and it's exciting to me. I think that we have a movement. I'm not going to give Trump a total clean bill of health, but I am going to say this: we have a movement going on in this nation where people are waking up, and we need to keep the momentum going of that movement. Because like you were saying, we are just right about where they were going to legalize pedophilia. You could already see the little campaign, the little bits and pieces here and there, just like they can call this spiritual cooking, this chaos magic art, where somebody actually sadistically hurts themselves. Just like they can do that, they've got all these little ways to start saying that pedophilia is okay, I mean, who are we to cramp somebody's style,
Right, exactly. That's the gist I get from the Hillaryites is, come on, we were almost to ultimate perversion. Why are you getting in our way? I'm actually one step away from Pizzagate. I just found out I'm 1 degree away from Pizzagate. I had no idea about this, but I'm in a documentary on HBO called Me at the Zoo, and it was produced by Michael Stipe of REM. But after learning about the child trafficking of Pizzagate, I found out one of the characters, Alefantis, who is one of the lead child traffickers, as far as I can find, he produced Me at the Zoo. So I'm actually in a movie produced by a Pizzagate character, and it shocked me. I was like, no wonder they focused on Chris Crocker in the film, who is a famous homosexual. And I only, if you blink, you'd miss me in this HBO documentary. But it was supposed to be on YouTube Celebridom, and so I was included in that. But then, once they got to meet Chris Crocker, who is a famous homosexual for being not famous, he's the one that everybody knows for crying, "Leave Britney alone." That whole thing, as I was exposing Britney Spears' mind control, here's Chris Crocker crying, "Leave her alone." Then I end up in a movie with them on HBO made by one of the child traffickers. I mean, oh my God, what is going on, Fritz? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just to review things for people that haven't been tracking what WikiLeaks has exposed, Jeffrey Epstein has this 72-acre orgy island the actual name is Little St. James Island. It's down in the Virgin Islands, and they have children on there. It's a pedophile paradise where Democrats and Republican leaders in Washington and other, powerful people are flown down, and even on the airplane, because there was this one clip where they were showing Bill Clinton on the airplane down there having a pedophile experience. And when they get down there, they can have their little pedophilia paradise, their orgy island, and it's remote, and so that's what they were exposing. But back here in the United States, where is that all being organized? Well, it's there in Washington, D.C. on Connecticut Avenue. There's these 4 businesses together, and that pizza place was one of them. And then there's 3 other businesses right there. They're all there together, the buildings, and they got tunnels underneath them. And so that's what we're talking about here. And that's WikiLeaks was going to come out with more stuff, and hopefully they will. There's all kinds of information out there questioning whether anybody from WikiLeaks is even alive anymore. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I was going to say that same thing. We don't even know right now whether or not any of those people have survived this. Oh man, all I kept thinking about, Fritz, was that videotape of Bill Clinton talking like a 6-year-old child, which is very common in this multiple personality disorder.
In her book, Transformation of America, author Kathy O'Brien claims that she was the victim of a mind control program run by the CIA. She claims that George Bush Sr. used ancient magical hand signals to directly control her subconscious mind. She also claims that Bill Clinton was under mind control. In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
Can't do any more. Let me do some more. Let me do some more. Let me do some more for you. Call. We done all call all today.
Lampe, Missouri was a place where I heard George Bush and Bill Clinton talking. From the point of view I had, they certainly were friends, and they didn't recognize any party lines between them. That's something for the, a smoke and mirrors illusion for the public. It's not something they adhere to because they had exactly the same agenda, and that was for bringing in this New World Order. I heard George Bush talking at that time. He was talking to Bill Clinton, and I've since photographically recorded it and wrote it verbatim in our book, that when the American people became disillusioned with Republicans leading them into the New World Order, that Bill Clinton, as a Democrat, was going to be put into the office of president. This was decided in 1984. Actually, I'd heard about it even prior to that. But that, as of 1984, they were already discussing it as an absolute fact.
So I wanted to finish the thought here. That's for one break we have to hit live. Been around the world break. Hard to believe we're being watched in 151 countries. Crazy. Ted Turner changed the world. Big fan of yours. He would serve you that. I don't know. Miss Rebbe, what's he got left in life again? After you're elected, think about it. No dope. That's for sure. We got to work for it.
Can't do any more. Let me do some more. Let me do some more. Let me do some more final touch. We done all today.
Transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
Okay. The world is not as we thought it was.
And you can see, folks, clearly in this video, if you see my Anna Nicole Brittany and Mind Control, I have that clip at the end, that he is hypnotized, he is under control, and then he is speaking like a child. And we can also see clearly where Larry King is congratulating him on becoming the president long before he ever became president, which is also confirming what you're saying about them having this all set up from the get-go, which leaves me with a lot of questions about what's going to happen in the next few months before the inauguration. But you've seen this video, Bill Clinton, right?
Well, you know, you had asked me before the show if I'd seen it, and I didn't know which clip you were asking about. I haven't seen that clip. That's better than what I saw. I saw something that years ago that somebody had done where he's getting makeup put on, yes, and he's like in a hypnotic trance.
Yes,
but that's not the one that you're talking about.
Well, it's part of it, but yeah, that's exactly it, though. You can see that he is clearly in some sort of trance. So, folks, what we're saying to you here is that these people are as much victims of this thing as anyone else. But for Hillary, I mean, she's a victim that became an abuser, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, she's definitely an abuser. She's a witch, and a lot of people, you know, were singing that thing from The Wizard of Oz, "The Wicked Witch is Dead," when she lost. I mean, it was a natural reaction. And it's pretty amazing that Bill, her husband, has just openly said, I mean, there's even video clips of them saying how she goes to California and attends coven rituals. And then, of course, he had publicly talked about how she channeled FDR's wife, Eleanor. So, and then White House staffers, you know, years ago when they were in the White House, would talk about how they had occult Christmas tree decorations and stuff like this. So, you know, this
I'm so glad you brought that up. I have brought that up so many times, but I've lost the article. I mean, that was 1998 or somewhere around there that they were reporting, Hillary's maid reporting on these bizarre rituals that Hillary would do for Christmas. And I'm so glad you brought that up because I've needed some confirmation for that.
Yeah, it wasn't your imagination. It wasn't the Mandela effect on this one.
Right. Yeah, and that's us, Fritz. You know, we're back here. We've been talking about this lady for, 20 years. And, you know, I watched her and her husband burn the women and children to the ground at Waco. I have very, very, very bad feelings about Hillary, and it freaks me out to watch these people crying and upset about her losing. I just don't. To me, this is the ultimate mind control. The idea that they don't see her for what she is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and the mainstream media they have really exposed how much they lie. It's absolutely incredible. And they continue. You know, their recent thing that actually a lot of people have bought into is that Trump has reneged on his campaign promises to go after Hillary, that he's decided to give her a free ticket and he's not going. He never said that. And his aide never said that. What they did say is that Trump is not the person that prosecutes, and that what Trump will do is assign someone, when he is president, that can go forward on investigating and prosecuting, but that Trump himself that's not the president's job. So they never said that they were going to give Hillary a free ticket and a pardon. And mainstream media's got so many people that voted for Trump upset. Oh, yeah, he's reneging on all that. No. Don't quit believing the mainstream media, people. I can't believe even Trump supporters are buying into mainstream media.
When you look into it, so you think we went to the moon?
That's not what I asked you. I said, how much did you look into that?
Do you think we went to the moon?
Eddie, answer my fucking question.